inevitably one of the key constraints that we all deal with in some form is a form of scarcity, a scarcity of time, a scarcity of resources, a scarcity of talent, as Ben was saying. And the key thing that the book tries to talk about is in a post-abundance world, and we're living in a post-abundance world in the West, we've become used to having resources, and we need to get used to being much more resourceful than we are. And we need to get used to thinking of resource not as the things that we control or the things that we're given, but the things that we can access that are all around us. And I'm going to tell you a story about chicken farming in Kenya that is an illustration of this, and then Porter is going to give you a much more practical and useful example of how it perhaps works in our world. But the story I'm going to give you is about rural Kenya. It's a region called Nakuru. It's a region that's well known for its hawks and eagles. Hawks and eagles are, of course, delightful if you're a twitcher, less good if you're a smallholder farmer in Africa, where a smallholder farmer has a roughly quarter of an acre. A quarter of an acre, I imagine, is roughly half this room, is it? Very small amount of land. You've got to feed your family. You've got to effectively buy and sort of grow enough to sell and kind of make a little bit of a living out of that as well. So everything needs to count. And chickens are good, right? Because chickens forage and chickens look after themselves by and large. But chickens lay eggs, eggs hatch, and in Nakuru, 85% of those hatchlings are eaten by the hawks and eagles. This is the sad part of the speech, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of the tonal range of the whole kind of thing. Mark does the upbeat rooster impressions. I do the sad chicken stories. So, and clearly, 85% of chickenicide, or whatever it's called, is not really sustainable for the chicken farmers. So they discovered, brilliantly, that if you paint the chicks purple when they are born with this biodegradable paint that washes out after they're 10 weeks old, the hawks can't see them as edible material anymore. They ignore them. The chicks are extraordinary, isn't it? Smart predator, very, very stupid when it comes to colour recognition. So the chicks survive until they're 10 weeks old, by which time they can work out when there's a shadow overhead that they need to get running. And the chick death rate drops to 5%, which is fantastic. So now there's more chickens to go around. They can feed their family a few more of these kinds of things. There's a new profession in Kenya, which is a chicken painter, who charges 3 Kenyan shillings per chick. It's a wonderful example of how an idea can affect an ecosystem. But now, of course, as with all great solutions, it leads to another problem. The problem is this. Because there are more chicks foraging for the food, because they're all free range near the hut, there's less food to go around. The chicks are encouraged to go further abroad. About 15 feet out, the mongoose is waiting. And the mongoose isn't fooled by the purple thing at all, ladies and gentlemen. It'll eat any chick, any colour, day or night. So now this NGO, FIPS Africa, has to find a way of feeding these chicks free for the smallholder farmers. Otherwise, they're going to get eaten by the mongoose. And they access adjacent abundance. They work out, actually, they've got to find a free source of food. It's got to be adjacent. What have we got? We've got insects. There's roughly a ton of termites under each acre of African soil. But that's the problem. They're underneath the soil. So I need to find a way of getting that abundance up into a place where I can use it. They work out they don't have to answer that question themselves. There are people in Western Kenya who eat termites. They've just got to go and find a way that they trap termites and bring that back and give it to the chicken farmers. And I'm out of time, I know, so I'm not going to share that with you unless you want to ask me a question about how you catch termites, and I'd be delighted to actually answer it. But the point is, think of it as a metaphor. 2 things have happened here. One is they've recognized there is an abundance of a solution. They just have to find a way of accessing it. And secondly, in accessing it, they don't have to invent that answer themselves. They can find somebody who's already worked it out and bring, if you like, that technology, that inventiveness, that constraint-driven inventiveness to solve their own problem.